Good morning and happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome into another John's Comics with Friends Saturday morning comics show. The show that has evolved over the years from hanging out with my daughters on a Saturday morning to having teenagers who would rather sleep in, and you having to hear me ramble about whatever I've been reading, whatever I've been watching, whatever I've purchased recently. And of course, each month, at the beginning of the month, you see me giving away the channel member prize like I will be doing today. Mm, yes, get that coffee going. Happy Saturday. I hope everybody's doing well. Happy New Year. The first official live stream on my channel of the new year, I believe. I don't think I've done. Did I do anything? Oh, you know what I did on the very first day of the year? I did a live stream with Alex. So I guess this is the second live stream of the new year. But welcome in, friends. I'm happy to have you all here hanging out. I was texting with Gore Vidal this morning. I hope you're doing well, my friend. We got to pick something, something we could be doing, you and I, movie-wise, maybe in the new year. Some topic needs to percolate for you and I so that we can find something fun to chat movie-wise, you and I. And hello to C. Bizzle. He is on the wheel for winning stuff today for sure. And so is my man, Coach Vic. Good morning to you, Vic. And so is Magic Lasso. He wants to talk about Vecna. He wants to get into the Stranger Things of it all, and I will definitely do that. I'll try my best to be spoiler light for the finale of Stranger Things for people that jump in. But more than likely, if you love Stranger Things and you want to watch it by now, hopefully you've spent the time to watch that 2 hour and 8-minute finale. But yes, I watched that. I watched Avatar, the third film, Fire and Ash, and I'll be getting into some of that. I got my new books that I got in the last few weeks. But let's talk a little bit about the channel prize, the giveaway I'm doing this month. As always, I try to give away some fun Storm variants. These are the, how do I pronounce his name? Zerdy. The Zerdy classic Storm cover. I got the Virgin variant and the trade dress. I'm giving away both of those. And I'm throwing in a minor key here. We've got the first appearance of Cable, but this is the gold foiled second print. So you guys can get all of those. So some channel member is going to hook up those books, and they'll get to choose from the ever-growing pile of trade paperbacks I got going over here to fill out that Gemini mailer. So that's what I'm giving away this morning. Let me share, and I'll spin the first wheel. Let's see here. This is the wheel I want. I got two wheels going. I got to do my New Mutants. There they are. Hopefully you can kind of see all of that. Ooh, I'll scroll up a little bit. I got 10 members of the New Mutant Squad. Their names listed there on the right-hand side. And for every 5 members, 2 of them get on the big wheel. So these folks, I'll have a couple of them make the big one. I know Perry's done it a few times. I know Stu has done it a few times. I think Fable's done it a bit. So let's see who we get today. I'm going to shuffle these. I think there's a shuffle button up here. Yeah, it is. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And we'll spin this. And we'll pull our first name off of this list here. We're going to get Chaos. Uh-oh. Chris making the list. I'm going to hide him. I'm going to shuffle it a few more times. 1, 2, 3. And spin it again. So we'll add Chaos. Every day needs a little chaos. Uh-oh, and Perry does it again. I love it. So there you go. Perry's on that wheel. And I'm going to add Perry, and I'm going to add Chaos to the big wheel here. Let me do that. And we will spin that at the end of the show to see who wins those variants, those prizes to celebrate the end of the month there. Let's see. We got Wellbore in the chat going on. What's going on, my friend? Happy Saturday to you. Let's see. Yeah, Gore is in. Okay, good. We got to pick something. I'm trying to think. I've been watching a lot of Paul Newman movies. I've been going back and watching a lot of his, classic films. I've also been watching a lot of Denis Villeneuve's films. My oldest daughter is a big Dune fan, and Kate has seen both of those films. But then recently her boyfriend talked her into watching Prisoners, which is a really powerful Denis Villeneuve film. This is the one with Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal among many other great actors. A very powerful, heavy film, and she enjoyed it so much. I said, "Well, you need to see Sicario next." And I had been in a Taylor Sheridan kind of a run because I've started watching Yellowstone with Kevin Costner. Um, and so we put on Sicario, and she watched that one. So we've been in a Denis Villeneuve, Taylor Sheridan thing going on here at this house right now. Bleeker is in the chat. Hello to Reverend Bleeker. If you guys don't know Reverend Bleeker, firstly, you're missing out. You should hit subscribe to his YouTube channel because every Sunday he has comic book church over there, and the Reverend allows people to give praise and thanks to our comic book family. And then he also has an upcoming Kickstarter for his own comic book, Murder Kings. And Murder Kings coming soon. I'm going to be definitely doing the Kickstarter for that. And when it goes live, I will be doing some kind of a show or stream, I hope, with Bleeker and have him and some of the artists like Norrin, like Rad. I know Rad's been doing some artwork for the comic. Come on, share some panels, pages, talk a little bit of the story, give you guys. I usually don't do that kind of a thing, but for community members like Bleeker, I'm absolutely excited to be doing that. So that's coming up this calendar year at some point here at the beginning of the year, I believe. Yes, I'm that Storm guy. If you don't know, I'm the Storm guy. So I got to give away some Storm comics. What do you mean, Perry? What do you mean? Have you been eating the Newman? I mean, I do like Newman's own dressings. They're very good. Denis Villeneuve is very interesting. I agree. And I even went back and watched his French-Canadian film, and I'm struggling to remember the name of it. It was a one-word title, but it was very intense. Oh my goodness. Wow. I don't know that I could watch it again. What's up, JP? Yeah, I'm a bad influence. He's also a birthday boy. JP's birthday was on the 1st, along with our friend Cliff on Comics. So happy birthday, JP. I was on his channel last night talking about Poison Ivy. A whole lot of fun. Oh my God, John, the art is looking amazing so far. Rad and Drac are killing it. I mean, those guys, let's be fair. Rad comic art and Drac or Adrian, actual Dracula, very talented artists. And so I would expect nothing less. So very excited to see what the final product looks like, and really to get into the story. I want to hear about the story. I want to hear where that's going from. So very excited. No way, Boston Chris too. Look at all these January 1st homies. That's amazing. That is fantastic. So congrats to the birthday boys, all of the birthday boys. Hopefully they had a good day. I know it's hard when a holiday and your birthday overlap. I'm just kind of waking up here, just kind of getting in the groove here a little bit. But let's talk Stranger Things. I will put up I might really lower my chair on that one. I'm going to put up the banner for Stranger Things just in case, if you're someone who's like, I want to hear no spoilers on this. I don't want to hear a thing. I don't even want to hear the word Stranger Things. I'm going to put up the words Stranger Things on the screen like I always do. And if you see it up here, then that means we're talking about it. If it's gone, if this is gone, that means we're done and you can come back and not have to worry about it, because we want to get into other things as well. But I want to talk Stranger Things finale. Very divisive final season, but I do feel like when it comes to everything in the modern world right now, everything's divisive. There's nothing that doesn't seem to be, every battle line has been drawn. You can't do anything without having it be divisive to somebody somewhere. Somebody's offended by something. So, I mean, I appreciate you, Vic. You can always hit mute, and it's just me doing a lot of gesturing until that happens. I know that Sheena and Caroline are at the beginning of the month as well. I thought Sheena was maybe yesterday on the 2nd, but they did a live stream with Cliff, I think yesterday maybe. That was great to see all the Capricorns hanging out together. So I know it was very divisive. I don't feel like it was awful or off the mark. I know there are people that say that it's ruined the show for them or whatever, that are very hyperbolic about it. I feel like I've never heard of a TV series that ended their run perfectly for people, that had no complaints, no notes, right? That doesn't exist. So let's at least frame it within the context of how does it compare as a finale, right? And for me, I thought it was worthy of what had gone before it. Um, maybe a little long, maybe a little mildly anticlimactic, but it worked for me. It fit the show. Is it the best season? No. Is it the worst season? Maybe, but is it bad? Absolutely not. I don't think it's a bad season in any way. The complaints I think are pretty tame overall. Um, but I mean, I'm somebody that feels pretty strongly that I don't hold hate on finales like other people do. So Game of Thrones, Lost, Battlestar Galactica, those are three of my favorites. And I know that the final seasons are the weakest seasons of those shows, but they don't detract and they work in the same way that I feel like some shows maybe need a season before they find their footing. Parks and Recreation is one of my favorite shows, and it needed about a year to kind of find its voice. And then the final season maybe isn't the strongest. The best seasons are in the middle, but maybe that's just modern television. I think the format of television is such that you have a design to make something both comforting and yet also that moves forward. And that's a very tricky thing to manage, right? Because when something is comforting, it's the same each time. I don't have to miss an episode and then be completely lost. I want to just pick up wherever. I think modern television expects a lot and a little from us at the same time. And I think in the case of Stranger Things, with these big gaps in between, I think it was a tricky needle to thread. And I think in the end, for me at least, I felt like they managed it remarkably well. And the aging of those actors and all of these things were very complicated challenges to navigate that most shows don't have to navigate. And then, of course, the varying talent growth. Let's be fair. Not every child actor who's great when they're 8, 10 is going to be a mega talent when they're 20. It's not a guarantee. And I think you could see it among that cast. Some of them cared about their craft and were invested in growing skills. And some of them were resting on laurels and not necessarily challenging themselves. And I don't know that it's a guarantee that you find someone who's great that will continue to be so. So if several of those actors maybe aren't mega talents, but some of them are. And I think that discrepancy became more obvious as the series went along. So those are some of the challenges that went along. I don't think it was a huge failure on the part of the creators, but I also think we are in that era where everything is divisive, everything has got to be complaint worthy, and I get it. I get it. For me, I was happy with what I got. The final scene might be perfect. The final bit of the series is them, like they did at the very beginning of the show, playing Dungeons and Dragons down in mom's basement, right? And it was beautiful. I thought that final scene was perfection for me. And watching them reminisce a little bit, watching them sort of finish their campaign, reflect on what's changed for them, and then the way they photographed the kids putting their, binders back on the shelves and going up the stairs to get dinner. It was beautiful. So for me, that was the vibe I wanted, and that's what I got. That scene was remarkable. And that worked really well for me. Were there flaws? A ton of flaws. I don't know how these kids graduated high school when they missed, like, when one of them was in a coma for 2 years. I don't know why we didn't have any demigorgons or demi-dogs or demi-bats to fight at the end, and the answers we've been given are very flawed. So there's some confusions about the big battle and the big bad and everything we got at the end. So in that regard, that stuff was a little bit of an this irksome, but it didn't ruin it for me, and I definitely still really enjoyed it. So that's my basic thoughts. I also saw a post, and maybe I'll bring it up here on Instagram. My daughter found it and sent it to me, and I was like, "Please be fake, please be fake." I don't know. We'll see. So, and I don't know if I can blow it up any bigger. No, I don't know if I can get this post any bigger. So yeah, I'm gonna try my best to share this for you so that you can see it. And I'm sorry that I'm ignoring the chat a little bit here, but I'll do my best to share it. So let's see how this looks on my screen. Yeah, really tiny. I'll put myself inside of it like that. I got a little bit bigger. This is if you want to follow the account, and you can find it yourself, FRHD726_ posted this image of the Duffer Brothers in front of a green screen with a list of upcoming spin-off titles. The idea that the Stranger Things universe might continue beyond the show. And it lists some buck wild things. I instantly thought, this is AI. This is fake. I don't believe it. Other people have told me, no, it's real, but it is not live action. This is like animated stuff. This is comic books or cartoons, right? This is not, novels. It could be, novel book, kind of things, but none of this is guaranteed live action. So, take it for what it is. Here are some of the things it lists. And if I can blow it up a little bit for you there. You can kind of see behind me a bit. It says that there's a chapter 2 at the very end. It says season Stranger Things chapter 2. They're saying that there's a Nancy Wheeler confidential show. There's a show called The Creoles. There's a thing called Hawkins Lab, Stranger Things Tales from 1985. And then the one that made me laugh or giggle the most was the Harrington and Henderson Paranormal Services. All of these things, take it for what you want. I don't know that any of it means anything of value. I don't know what it amounts to. It could totally be AI. So that's what Kate shared with me, and I'll stop sharing that right now. But that's something that she shared with me because she was hyped on it. She had a very emotional response to it. She is graduating high school just like those characters at the end of the show, and I think so for her there was an emotional response to the ending. And I told her, don't worry, at some point there's money on the table here. They're going to come back around to this, right? They're going to go back to this universe at some point here. So, you'll see these actors again. There's cash on the table for Netflix. And the Duffer Brothers and these actors and blah, 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 blah. Let's see what the chat is saying, though. There's lots of good comments going on here. I said hello to Perry. Perry made it to the big wheel today, so he is in the running to win the big prize for this month. Let's see here. Treat yourself to some Scott Summers comics, Perry. JP, that's what Gore says. He also says you're a reasonable amidst unreasonable crowd. I don't know about reasonable, but I like to temper my expectations as best as I can. We shall see. Sorry, I missed Terry from the Bronze page. He's got a new video that he dropped on his channel that I was watching last night, or maybe it was early this morning. I've completely lost track of time. But he's saying, Happy New Year. Stranger Things was great. Now you should watch Fallout. It is another great show. And I have not even started Fallout. But I was never a video gamer in that era, so I didn't read or I didn't play any of those games. Taylor Winder, not a fan. He says mediocre TV, weak villain origin, plot holes you could drive a bus through, and there are definitely a few. Way too bloated of a cast at the end to handle no real emotional sacrifices. Agree regarding the final bit. The D&D scene was better than anything else that happened on the past 2 seasons. And yeah, sniff, Cork, I agree. Sorry, my nose is a little sneezy this morning. M Dubcat, what is going on the big wheel today? Hopefully winning some prizes. Everybody's saying hello to everybody. So yeah, those are my general thoughts on the show. There were elements I liked. I liked that they left the fate of Elle up to the audience a little bit. I liked that. I liked that they gave Vecna the chance to redeem himself, and then I loved that Henry was beyond redemption. I liked all of those moments. They worked for me a bunch. So take it what you will. Flawed, yes. To the ruin of the show, no. Definitely something I will rewatch again at some point from the beginning and kind of see how well it holds up as an entire series front to back, because it's hard with 10 years separating the beginning and the end. To go back and rewatch it from the beginning would be kind of fun. So there you go. I will take this banner down and I will change it over to Avatar Fire and Ash. Because I did see Fire and Ash during the holiday break here. So there you go. All gone. Gore. Not Gore. Vic, you can come back whenever you're feeling up to it, because I'm going to go to Fire and Ash next here. What is up, Sheena? Happy belated birthday, because I believe it was yesterday. And she was on that stream with Caroline and with Cliff, having a blast, talking Capricorn birthdays, of which my wife just misses out. She's an Aquarian there at the beginning of, the end of January. But I hope that I know that your morning got started off right, because I was getting spammed by memes from this amazing lady. Between you and Thierry, I was getting I had all the memes this morning. But I returned the favor, I like to think. Pass that back. Share the baton. So yes, I saw Fire and Ash also with Kate. Kate is definitely my Avatar and Stranger Things gal. So this was a fun vacation time for her and I, because we could stew in these things together a little bit. Good morning, Digger Jim. Happy Saturday to you. So Kate and I love the Avatar films. I don't know if I love them as much as she does. I find them very entertaining. I find the world very engrossing. I find the characters very interesting. But I do argue that the films are too long. That all three of them are too long. I also think, having seen 3 of them now, that they're not terribly original ideas, even if the universe is original and the way the world operates, very original, very creative. The story plot and the beats of the story, not terribly original. I mean, ultimately, the first film is Dances with Wolves all over again. It legitimately is. I will hear no arguing on that point. However, that does not detract them from being enjoyable, right? The concept of taking a basic plot and applying it to a new universe is old as time. I mean, what is Star Wars but a remake, right? Hidden Fortress, I think, is the original, if you can say that, film. So I don't hold that against James Cameron in any way, and I don't hold it against my enjoyment of those films. But I do notice it, and I do take that into account, right? The first film, I know, is landmark for some people. It is absolutely iconic for some people. Not for me. I did not enjoy I still cannot handle 3D, gang. I'm not a 3D fan. Don't make me wear the goggles. Don't make me. It's a dead technology like smell-o-vision. Like I don't need 3D for anything. It does not add to my enjoyment of a single motion picture. It never has, and it never will. Even Captain EO, Disneyland fans will know, Captain EO was not made better by 3D. So I'm already out on that front. IMAX, I don't think it's worth the price. I think it's an overrated. I don't think it's bad, but I do think it's an overrated price point. That the cost of movie tickets is already so sky high that adding more because I get a bigger wall to project it on doesn't do much for me, the fanboy. So I tend to see these movies in a standard definition theater, regular, plain old everything. But I still really enjoy them. And this was no less. I really had a good time watching this movie. I would rank them just briefly as in order, 1, 2, 3. My favorite being the first, second favorite second, third favorite third. But it doesn't detract from the quality. Like I can tell that a master filmmaker is at work here. That's James Cameron is a master filmmaker. Whether you love these movies or not, whether you love his Terminator movies, True Lies, Aliens, Abyss, whatever, I feel like he's a master filmmaker. He doesn't really miss. Like his movies are not bad. They're always quality. So in that regard, you're getting a lot for your money. And that's where I'm in. That's where I'm invested in this universe and these characters. The biggest flaws, as I said, are that they're too long, that they are somewhat unoriginal, and they are absolutely repetitive. And that was most evident here in this third film, because the second and third films were originally, I guess, written as one film and then split into two. And it suffers because of that. They did not do enough to make these two separate stories. And as a result, certain plot points repeat, certain elements come around again. So elements of the story feel repetitive, and that is a problem. That is a problem as for an audience, you know. Matt, what's going on? Happy Saturday to you, sir. He says, Happy New Year, everybody. MCAT says, I wish we got more visions from Cameron rather than just continually returning. I mean, he's clearly playing in a big pool right now. He's playing in the ocean. He has had the opportunity to tell on a grand scale the story he wants to tell. So we just got to wait it out. You know, hopefully he finishes these films and is able to go on to tell a new story, right? But I think he has earned and deserves the opportunity to finish this story. It had originally been a 3-film plan, then it's now 5. Who knows where it'll end in the end? You know, these films continue to cross $1 billion over and over and over again. This one seems no different. So I think at this point, you know, he's going to get to write his own ticket for the rest of these movies. They're going to all happen. He has the freedom, right, to do whatever he likes. So, you know, c'est la vie, it'll be what it'll be. We got the man, the myth, the legend, the freaking Rican himself. What is going on? Rod is in the chat. Happy New Year, my man. I hope things are going well for you so far in 2026. We got Ruben Guzman in the chat. What's going on, Ruby G? Happy Saturday to you and the Tiger Cub. I hope things are going well in the new year for you guys. I hope that first Christmas with little baby was a good one. I hope that went well for you, buddy. M Cat says, imagine if Spielberg kept making Jurassic movies instead of building new worlds. I mean, it's a fair critique. It's a very fair critique. But the difference being, this is entirely, if you don't count the copying of Dances with Wolves, this is entirely James Cameron's universe, you know, and I think these are entirely his characters. And as he has continued to world build and expand the Sully family, I think it's really been an opportunity for him to dive into interesting topics. And I think I respect that journey for him, for sure. JP says Avatar 1 was fine, but mostly just a visual spectacle, and story was blah, but never had any interest in going back for 3 hours per. And that's the biggest complaint that I know Charlie's got. My youngest says, I like them just fine, but I don't want to sit down and watch a 3-hour movie. And that is a big, fair complaint. And the inverse of that, if I could flip that into a positive, is you're getting a lot for your money when you go to the movie theater, right? You're dropping your money, and James Cameron's going to give you a 3.5-hour world building epic. And if you can hold your bladder for that amount of time, he's going to pay you back, right? You're going to get something wild out of it, and you're going to get every penny of that time back. So those are the two sides of it. Now, I get that it's a lot, but you know, especially on rewatch, that's where it hurts me. Is I don't, you know, do I have the time to sit down and watch a 3.5-hour movie just casually on rewatch? That's where he gets the ding from me. I started watching Avatar 2 and stopped because I've seen it before. And what I've done in the past is watch about half of it, and then, you know, when I find time, go back and watch the other half. But I admit it's daunting in that way, right? So what did I like about it? The villainess, the queen of the fire tribe of the Navi is beautifully rendered. I guess she's the granddaughter of Charlie Chaplin. So Gore Vidal, little fun fact there for you. The Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter plays the woman in with the red things in her hair, and she has this incredible way of walking. It's very much like a catwalk, like a supermodel kind of a thing. It's really crazy. When she comes on screen at every moment, she completely takes over and she is captivating. She is really amazing. And she's got very little time on screen, which is a drawback. But when she is there, absolutely incredible. I also think the gentleman who plays Quaritch, the villain who was killed, spoiler, at the end of the original film, brought back for the second film. He is fantastic, and he continues to be my favorite performer in these movies. So for me, he has been a highlight to watch, and maybe that's a flaw of these movies is that the villains are the best part, and that the Sully family has yet to really hook us. For me, there's moments where I love them and moments where I'm captivated, but I'm more captivated to just watch them exploring these vibrant worlds than I am to care about their life struggles. So the Sully family is weaker. I love Natiri, and that is Zoe Saldana's character. I think she does a wonderful job of giving Natiri all these layers, all these depths. And I think that's a character that rises above, I think, Jake and Loak and the other children in the family. I'm trying to remember. I'm sorry. It took and what is Grace's little kid? I can't remember. But all of the children in the Sully family, I think they are not as full of depth as Mom. Natiri is a great character. So those are the highlights for me. As always, I love the ocean that they explore. So the second and third films spend a lot of time along this reef, and you're seeing the incredibly diverse animal species living in this space. Those sequences under the water, of course, play to James Cameron's strengths. He loves, you know, ocean conservation and ocean exploration and submarines and all these things. You've seen it with his Titanic film and his Abyss film, his documentaries. He really has a passion for ocean ecology, and it plays into those films. So if you love that kind of underwater with amazing music kind of playing over it, he really crushes those sequences. And those are the biggest highlights for me, the visual sides. So take that as you will. Those are the feelings and the thoughts I have on this third film. I will definitely watch it again, but my oldest and I are the ones that would go to see it in the theater versus Charlie and my wife are my wife just finally saw the second one this break. I was sitting down to watch the second one as kind of like a refresher, and she had never seen it. So she was like, "Can I watch a little?" And she watched about half of it. And then, the holidays got the best of us. And then we came back and finished it. And she definitely enjoyed it, but she has the same feelings that JP has. I don't mind 3 hours, but one dragged to me. Don't feel like it needed to be 3 hours for sure. And that was my wife's feelings as well. My wife's other thought, and this is one that maybe is in keeping with the theme of how everything is divisive in 2026, 2025 as well. She felt like she struggled to the to enjoy these movies because they were stressful for her. And they're stressful for her because the main theme of these movies is ecology, right? The idea that human beings are destroying the world, that big corporations and military industrial complexes are destroying the natural world, and that people can't do anything to stop it. And for her, that touches home in a big, big way. And she finds the movies infuriating as a result. It's hard for her to watch it because despite the fact that we're on this crazy other planet with blue aliens that are 8 feet tall, It's too real. And I get it. For her, the frustration is like, I don't think I can pick up a bow and arrow and shoot them in a military industrial complex, or the corrupt politicians or the corrupt corporations that are doing this to our planet. So for her, the frustration with Avatar is, I don't need a 3.5 hour movie to remind me that these companies are awful. I need a 3.5 hour movie to make them stop. Right? So for her, it's a challenging watch, because she watches it and she says to herself, you know, there's no solution. This is hopeless. And I get that. So that's her emotional response to Avatar. My wife struggles to separate the deeper analogies and metaphors from reality for her. And I get that. It's definitely there. It's definitely writ large on the screen in a big way, that, in the second film, you see them hunting these whales just for a little bit of mineral that they're gonna pull from the whale, and then they leave the corpses to rot. I mean, that's the history of whaling in our country, right? In the world. So I get the complaint, and it does feel very real, especially when you watch documentaries like Blackfish, or the one about the dolphins in Asia, and just the way they're being slaughtered. It's really brutal. So we are definitely living that hellscape in a way, and I think that for her made these films hard to watch. When they're destroying the forest in the original film, or the beautiful great trees. So yeah, precisely. I think there are definitely a lot of comparisons between the whaling industry and the American bison, and the rainforest, the deforestation down in South America. And so a lot of that makes it very difficult to watch, especially for 3.5 hours and three times over. Agree with your wife. I get that same feeling, but that's what makes it a good movie, feeling something good or bad. And that's what I told her, Jim. I told her, if art can do anything, ideally it can change the minds and the souls of the next generation coming up. So ideally, these massively successful films are teaching the next generation of corporate billionaires that they can do better, that they don't have to be Giovanni Ribisi's, lecherous villain lackey character, that maybe they can find a better way that doesn't just make them rich off the destruction of the world. So if James Cameron is successful with these films beyond making money, if he is able to plant this deeper thought and seed out in the world, couldn't we say that the films were an even bigger success at changing minds, and that the artwork elevated the theme to such an extent that people are now able to be the change that we want to see in the world? So that's what I told her. I don't know if that's optimism. I do feel like that's the goal of art. When you have these deeper themes and these deeper ideas, right? I think I remember in film school, we were watching The Last of the Mohicans, which is a great movie. Michael Mann, Daniel Day-Lewis, Madeline Stowe. The film is about, and the book, of course, the novel that it's based on, is about France and England fighting over America, right? Fighting over North America, the continent. And the irony of it being, we know in when the movie came out in the 90s, we know in 1990, neither of them wins, right? We know that France and England can fight all the livelong day. The colonialists are the ones who survive to the end. So the professor that I had basically said, why do they do this? Because the film is basically not having us choose sides, right? France and England are constantly at war all through the film. But we are seeing it from the perspective of some of the Native Americans and from the colonialists who are caught in the middle choosing sides. Are we with the French? Are we with the English? It doesn't matter. And what the professor was trying to say was it's a metaphor for American politics. You have the far right and the far left, and in the middle are the masses who are just trying to figure out a way to navigate these problems. And it doesn't really matter who wins because we're still stuck with the problems in the middle, right? And that Last of the Mohicans is a metaphor for that, right? The idea of having these two groups with all of their history and all their infighting and all their drama, and in the center are the Native Americans and the colonialists just trying to eke out a living from the land, right? In the same way, I think you could make comments on the metaphors for Avatar being deforestation and big corporations and feeling powerless to stop something that is so much bigger than you, even though it's having an impact on your world, right? There's some metaphor there to be had, right? So, to my wife, my point to her was, the goal of art is to affect minds, to impact thinking. And if James Cameron is successful on the grand scale beyond finances of putting a fingerprint on the minds of the next generation of people coming up, the next businessmen, the next millionaires, billionaires, and trillionaires, maybe what we get is a more ecologically sound business plan that is not simply let's just add more plastics to the world or whatever. I mean, it's possible. That's the optimistic side for me. And it hopefully makes it a little less depressing. Well, what's going on, Kenneth Bird? Happy Saturday to you. There's my man, Legion of Comics, Graybeard. I guess it is. I do need a trim up at some point here. The franchise has definitely moved the needle in numerous ways. I mean, obviously, it's having an impact on cinema. It's having an impact on the proliferation of 3D and IMAX, and so there's a whole aspect of the cinema landscape that it's impacting without a doubt. And obviously technologies, the development of technologies for CGI and for motion capture, and there's a ton of technology aspects. My hope is that thematically it is having an impact as well, and that there is an awakening happening, because obviously these movies are successful on such a grand scale. It would be hard to imagine that they wouldn't. Will it be in fast enough time that we don't just completely destroy the world first? Who knows? Didn't Cameron write Terminator as well? So he has had always had a forward-thinking, futuristic allegory involved in his films. 100%. Yes. So yes, the entire Terminator universe is his, right? He only directed the first two films and wrote the first two films, but he has been a producer and has ownership of some of those elements all the way along. Besides, obviously kicking the Alien franchise into a whole new gear, and all, The Abyss and Titanic and on and on and on and on. Absolutely been a groundbreaking filmmaker from the beginning. If the cartoon Fern Gully could affect so many kids in the 90s, Avatar most definitely can do the same. I mean, but did it? So that's the question. Did those kids who were impacted by Fern Gully go on and become ecologically wise billionaires today? Because I don't see it yet. So I don't know. I haven't seen evidence that they have changed their ways. We do seem to be digging deeper. And I would say the AI data centers that are using up all of our water supply are an example of that. What's going on, Who Dat? Happy Saturday to you, my friend. And Eric from 9-Panel Grid. What is going on, my friend? Yes, I've got a soccer game in about 3 hours. We'll be playing a soccer game here for JV, baby. So that's my Saturday as well, my friend. So there you go. That's my chat around Avatar, Fire and Ash, the third film. I've seen all of them in the theater. I plan to see the others when they come along in the theater. Will I be able to watch them? I don't know. Again and again and again. It's hard just because having 3.5 hours these days it's not an easy thing to find. It's easier to find an hour here, an hour there, those kind of things. Lumping all billionaires into one basket seems sketchy. There's over 150 in New York City alone. Truly, truly. But how many of them do you see making a positive environmental impact, like on a grand scale, the way that the others are making such a negative impact? Like, where do they balance out? That's a question for me. Some of them just are happy to shut her up and live off their money, which, hey, they've earned it or they've inherited it, so, let them have it, but it'd be nice if there were people balancing these things out a little bit. The problem is that people that are affected by these things don't grow up and pursue careers that make them billionaires. They prefer service careers. Ooh, great point. Great point. They also don't translate at home to home viewing, such a drop from IMAX. That's a great point, Kate. But I will say I've only really watched them on small screens. I've never, other than the first Avatar, I have not watched any of these movies in IMAX. I prefer, I said this at the beginning. I think 3D it's like smell-o-vision to me. It is such an overrated art form. I do not like 3D. The fact that if I sit and I just tilt my head like this, I get nauseous. I will puke. I will absolutely puke in a 3D movie if I just tilt my head even slightly. You have to keep yourself so rigid and so straight. So 3D is out for me. I can't watch I could watch a 3D trailer, but beyond 15 minutes, I'm done. I'm just done. So then you're just left with IMAX, and all I'm getting is a giant screen, and I get that it's kind of more immersive, but I don't feel it's worth the price for me personally. I think it's overrated. I'm fine just seeing these films on a normal screen. So I just I when I saw Avatar 1 3D IMAX and was kind of nauseous all the way through it, I told myself I'm done. I'm not going to see any of these movies. If this is the peak of 3D IMAX technology, I'm good. I'm going to walk. It's not for me. It's just not for me. That doesn't ruin my enjoyment of them. I'm still able to enjoy these movies. I just don't I just don't need to pay twice the price just to have a bigger wall. And for me, that's what I walk away from. I don't enjoy it. It doesn't I'm in the same boat as Eric here. It just absolutely makes me nauseous. So I'm over the whole thing personally, but that's all right. Cliff, the birthday boy, is here as well. He says that's sad. The only thing I love about them is the 3D. So there you go. It's not for everybody, but I'm glad that there are people that are enjoying it. You need an AMC. You need AMC a list. I don't know what that is. You need AMC a list. Is that like you can go as often as you want in a month or whatever? I accidentally bought 4D. Oh goodness. What is a 4D? I don't even know. Is that like is that like you're in a dome and it's just all around you at the same time? I've never tried 4D. That seems a little bit wild to me. Um, but I also understand that some people love that stuff. They didn't appreciate there's a roller coaster. Dang, I don't know that I'm ready for that. I'm not ready for that experience. I just want a good movie. Like I don't I'm fine. Again, gang, I was fine with Avatar on the normal size screen in my recliner chair, no glass. I don't have to wear any I don't have to wear anything. Yeah, I don't want to wear any gear. I don't want to wear any gear. I would definitely not prepared. Not prepared. I'm not ready for this. Ryan saying he's never seen Avatar. Again, if you've got the time, I think these are films from a really talented filmmaker. Uh, so much like a comic book written by a very talented writer, you're guaranteed a high quality product, regardless of how you choose to consume it. I don't feel that it needs 3D or it needs IMAX, but I know that for the people that like those formats, it elevates it. Um, 3D doesn't mess with my stomach, but I have thought it would improve the movie for me. I think it does for some people. I have a problem with 3D. It causes me to feel sick as well. I always thought it was just me because everyone I've talked to, I think it's kind of like an inner ear thing. And as you get older, roller coasters and whatnot. I mean, there's that great episode of Modern Family where he's just getting nauseous from riding roller coasters as an adult. I think it's just at a certain point, the technology affects you more. And so I'm fine doing without it. It doesn't impact me. And the challenge is, does it ruin or change the movie experience? I have felt like it does not. And I don't mind watching it at home on my tinier screen, but obviously I would prefer to see movies in general on a big screen. I think that's what I like to do, but I also understand that it's not for everybody. My sister also can't watch 3D because it makes her sick. So, there you go. It's not for everybody. And I don't know that I've always felt that way, but I do know that even as a kid going to Captain EO at Disneyland, which was the Michael Jackson 3D, like a 15-minute movie or something. Even if I tilted my head, the second I adjusted my plane of viewing, it would absolutely cause me nausea. So that's a thing, I guess. Let's see. I definitely recommend looking into the original music from Horn and an ethnomusicologist. Okay. Is that who is it Alan Horn? No, what's the name of the composer? I can't remember. I want to see it, but don't have 4 free hours. And that's my wife's attitude for sure. She's kind of like the movies are a little depressing and the cost. James Horner, sorry. There it is. Thanks, Kate. The movies are a little heavy and they're really long. So for her, she's fine waiting till they're streaming and then watching it in smaller chunks. That's kind of how she prefers it. And she doesn't dislike the movies. It's just, do I have the time and the emotional stability to be able to watch it? So that's the challenge for her, for certain. I'm going to spin the wheel again because we've got one more wheel spin to figure out who, let me share the screen here, who is going to win my channel membership giveaway for this month. And I've added Perry and I've added, who else did I add? Chaos and Comics are on the wheel. So these are all the nominees, all the people elevated to the big wheel to possibly win. You can see the list of names here on the side. If they are New Comic Book Day Coalition, they are on there twice. Otherwise, they get 1 entry apiece. And I'm going to shuffle all the names a little bit here for us. And we'll spin this and see who gets to choose from the giveaway prizes. Is ADHD or high IQ? Oh my gosh, Chaos and Comics. I hate that guy. Oh my gosh. So this is a guy. He got both wheels. He jumped to the big wheel and he is the big prize winner. So congrats to Chris from Chaos and Comics. What is he winning? He gets the second print, first appearance of Cable. So that New Mutants 87, and then he gets these awesome Storm, Virgin, and trade dress covers by Zerdy. So congrats to you, Chaos. He'll also get to pick some trade paperbacks from my little wall of trades. I know he's a massive reader. So I will hit up Chaos. I might even just text him because I got his number and see what he would like to pick. And then these are going to go out to him. But let's talk about next month, gang. I need to stop sharing this because I don't need that anymore. There we go. Next month, I got a big prize. Channel members next month get a big prize. Firstly, I'm going to throw in some awesome issue number 1s. All New Wolverine by Tom Taylor. What a great series. This is from Jen's collection. So is Ms. Marvel number 1, Kamala Khan, throwing that in. I always have to have a Storm variant. So I got some David Nakayama Cowgirl Storm, that Beyonce cover, as I call it. But the big prize is a signed, yes, Clayton Crane rainbow signature signed Virgin variant. So gang, this is going in. It even has the little like numbering, 374 out of 600. So these are all going to be the prizes for the January channel members, elevating things a little bit here for the 2026. So everybody who's a channel member has a chance to win. If you are at the, let's share some of those things. Where is it? Up here at the top somewhere. If you are like Ariel Red, so let me get rid of the banner. I don't need that anymore. Ariel Red, X11 Bravo, Daymares, or Matt from Impressed Comics, they're on the wheel twice to win. And then if you are an X-Men squad member, your name is on there 1 time. So that's all of these homies. And if you are a New Mutant, you are on their you're on the mini wheel, and for every 5 people on this list, 2 of them get elevated to the big wheel. So that's Chaos. Chaos just won. Perry has made it to the big wheel many times, has not won yet, but hopefully at some point. So that's how you get in to win. You hit the join button, and then you support the channel, which is hugely appreciated. And then you get a chance to win. Every month I give away some fun variants, and I give away a pick. You can choose something from the trade paperback wall. I try to pack a Gemini mailer. So if you've got room for more than 1 trade, sometimes I can fit 2. If it's a particularly large trade, maybe it won't fit more than 1 in the box. So there you go. So Chaos, congrats to you for winning this month. And then at the beginning of February somewhere, I will draw the name for that Clayton Crane signed book. Some fun things to go out. And those books, I know, they're not cheap. The rainbow signatures are not cheap. But the quality is there. So hopefully somebody enjoys that. I think I got that in a mystery box that I won during Comics Curing Cancer. So if it can go to somebody who loves it, then that's all the better for it. What else? That's mostly what I've got. We did Stranger Things. We did Avatar. We talked about life and big things happening in the new year. I hope everybody's 2026 has been doing well. As I mentioned, I personally have been on a Taylor Sheridan kick because I've started watching Yellowstone for the first time. We dropped a couple of streaming services and we picked up Peacock, which has Parks and Recreation, which we were excited to show the kids, but it also had Yellowstone, which I had never watched. I did. I got it from Legion. There you go. It was in one of his mystery boxes, I bet. So yeah, that's going back out to the community. But so I had never watched Yellowstone. I'm a big Kevin Costner fan. I like Taylor Sheridan's writing. Hell or High Water is a great movie. Sicario is a great movie. Wind River is a great movie. So I like Taylor Sheridan as a writer. And I thought this show would be something interesting. I know he's got several other shows like Tulsa King, and I can't remember the Jeremy Renner one, Mayor of something. Mayor of East Town or something like that. So I was curious to watch it. We are almost done with season 1, and it is great. Like, it's very compelling. It's a little much. There are definitely moments when I'm like, do they need to kill that guy? Kevin Costner's kid. Spoiler, I guess, for a show that's like basically done. It's like 5 seasons deep. Landman, there it is. Mayor of Kingstown, is that what it is? There's in the first 3 episodes of Yellowstone, Kevin Costner's youngest son kills 4 people. I'm just saying, it got egregious. The second episode, I'm like, why is he's just shooting everybody, and he's not a cop. He's not like Magnum PI, although Magnum PI seems to kill somebody every episode of that show, so I guess I can't complain. I just don't know why they needed to have so many. He's just a normal, like, cowboy. He's just a guy training horses, but he's murdering people everywhere. He's killing people constantly. I don't know why. It seems a little bit excessive that he is just constantly killing people. So there are definitely moments where I'm like, okay, the violence seems a little unnecessary. It doesn't seem to be useful. Magnum is it's the Hawaiian shirts that make it palatable. The short shorts and the Hawaiian shirts make it all palatable. So there are a couple of moments in the first few episodes where I'm like, okay, I get it. He's a stone cold killer, but like at some point he's just like bringing the entire population of this city down. It's a little excessive, my man, a little excessive. And then they fire somebody from the ranch, but he's seen too much. So they got to kill the guy. They literally let you go off a cliff when you're done. When you quit working at Yellowstone, you're going to die. So those were a little bit extreme, but at the same time, I think the drama works really well. I like the cast. The flashback sequences are very interesting. They really expand what's going on with this family. Kevin Costner, I think it's a shame that he had like 3 massive films in a row that drew kind of like negativity onto him. Waterworld and The Postman being the biggest ones. But even his Robin Hood, which was a massive success and made a ton of money, still got a lot of negativity for his British accent. It's fair, totally fair. But if you put those three movies aside, let's just say we can put a pin in those three movies. Because what actor doesn't have three bad movies? But let's just put a pin in those because I would not even call them all bad movies. But let's just put a pin in those. The rest of his filmography is so absolutely unbelievably good. I have a hard time complaining. I absolutely love Bull Durham. I absolutely love Field of Dreams. Dances with Wolves, I think, is such a heart on its sleeve love story for Native American culture and the frontier in the West. I have a big love for Kevin Costner. And then you get into his, later years, you're getting into the Tin Cup and the Draft Day and the, one Open Range is a massively underrated film. I think Open Range might be my favorite of his films. It's, it's right there with Bull Durham and Field of Dreams. I think he gets a lot of grief undeservedly for those three films that we put the pin in and gets overlooked for The Bodyguard and all these other really great films. No Way Out. No Way Out is a great movie. So in my opinion, it's unfair the complaint that he's not a good actor or that he plays the same characters or that he doesn't have a lot of notes. I just disagree. He certainly likes a certain stoicism, but I think to his credit, he knows where he succeeds, kind of like Keanu Reeves. These are people who know how to pick projects where they fit. And I really do think he knows how to play a certain kind of Americana, right? A certain kind of stoic Americana. And it fits beautifully here in Yellowstone. John Dutton is a perfect version of this character. He is the villain, in my opinion, of the show up to now, at least what I've seen of season 1. He seems to be the villain, but he is absolutely someone that you can understand where they're coming from. So in that way, he has that sort of Magneto-like quality of a villain that you can understand. Yeah, Wyatt Earp, I think, gets a lot of grief because it got compared to Tombstone, and they're very different films, right? Very different movies, very different points. And I enjoyed Horizon, although it feels like an unfinished movie, and that's the problem. And I think it should have been a TV show. Honestly, I don't know why he didn't just, knowing what they were doing with Yellowstone and what is happening with television right now, he should have just made this thing into a damn miniseries or a season. Like it should have been a show. It should have been a show. And trying to make it a film in the height of COVID and movies where they are in 2025 and 2024 or whatever when it came out, it was a flaw. He should have just made it for television. The budgets they're throwing at television and the quality of special effects and filming for TV, it was a foolish errand to try to make this a 3-part or 4-part, giant Western epic. It was a fool's errand. And I appreciate his passion for it and his excitement for it, but it was a foolish decision for him, 100%. You interviewed Kevin Costner. That's awesome. How have we not talked about that? That's got to be next on our discussion. Pa Kent, yeah, he played Pa Kent. Not necessarily my favorite iteration of Pa Kent, but we'll let it go. Dance with Wolves is a top 10 because my family background is a product of its time, but still hard to watch or hard to match. I think is what you meant. Hard to match, right? Not hard to watch. I read watch, but you wrote match. Yeah, it's a great film, and I think it's hard to deny how high the quality level is for sure. Part 2 has been screened as they filmed it and screened it. Okay, they're trying to figure out what to do with it release wise. Yeah, I think the first film was just such there was no chance for success for that movie. There's none. So I think he should legitimately recut part 1 into like 3 episodes of a show, and then start cutting part 2 into 3 episodes of and just make it a TV series, mini series, whatever he wants to call it. Because if it had been released like that for television, for a streaming platform like an HBO, I think he would have had a lot more success, and people would have been talking about it, and he would have been given more money to do more of it. I think it's the wrong format. Movies have changed too much. He's from the era of movie stars, though. He is. He was from the non-studio era, right? The era after the John Wayne, right, era of film. And I think as a result, he has some of those elements of like typecasting, where he plays a certain kind of character, and he plays that kind of character well. But he also is his own mold, and he is fine going out of the box to play other kinds of people. So yeah, they did that with Baz Luhrmann's Australia, recut with deleted scenes, cut into episodes, and then released on Hulu. Also love that film. And so I think there's a way to make it work, and I think there's a way for him to recoup the money he put into it, beyond the people that obviously supported him and put money into it, by making it for TV. And I think it would be exciting if he released it as season 1, season 2. I would certainly be right there at the front of the line to watch it. So that's just me. But that's what I've been watching lately, along with, of course, revisiting Taylor Sheridan's other films. I really do love Hell or High Water. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Rewatched Wind River not too long ago. Sicario. He's got a way with the modern frontier. I have not gotten through enough of Yellowstone or seen any of the spin-off. I know Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren were in one, and I can't remember who was in the other spin-off of Yellowstone, but I do want to visit those. I'm not as big a Stallone fan. I respect him as a visionary, but I'm not as excited to watch Tulsa King. It doesn't seem like something I would enjoy. It just seems a little heavy-handed to me. Mayor of Kingstown, I might want to see the Jeremy Renner show. I might get around to that at some point. Love Ben Foster. Yeah. Hell or High Water is great, and he is so good in it. Ben Foster is fantastic. I remember seeing him in 310 to Yuma, the remake. So good in that. But yeah, he's a great actor. So that's what I've been watching. Those are the stuff I've been checking out. Videos. I've got my best of Marvel video is out. My best of DC. Those of you that are channel members, you can watch my best of DC video. It's already up for early viewing, but it drops for everybody on Thursday, so you can see that next week. And I'm currently working on finalizing my top 10 videos for the 2020, or my top 10 indie books for 2025. I joke that it's 10 because the reality is it's going to be closer to 15. There's just too many, gang. There's just too many good indie comics in 2025. So it'll be an expansive list with a lot of honorable mentions. So I'm excited to share it with you. I did a live stream with Whitewell Comics on New Year's Day, on Thursday, and I gave my top 5 with a couple of honorable mentions. So some of the list is out there. You can check that live stream out. Alec and I had a great time because we had a lot of love for the Rick Remenders and the James Tinians, the writers that have had a lot of impact on us over the years, Kieran Gillen. So a lot of our favorite writers have appeared across both of our top 5s. So you can see some of that for sure in that live stream. But if you want a more condensed, 8-10 minute version with all of the indie books mentioned, that video should be coming in a week or 2. So that'll be up. And of course, channel members get early access, so you can watch it early before it drops. Because I'm trying to do one edited or one recorded video every week. And then, the shorts and other things get thrown in, the other live streams and whatnot. So all that stuff's still coming up. Tulsa King is more macho comedy. It's fun. Lower on the Taylor Sheridan list of content. Is it safe to assume your vest of DC or best of DC is just you listing 10 different Poison Ivy comics. That's very fair. That is very fair. Actually, I don't know that I mentioned Poison Ivy. Obviously, I've done a whole video on Absolute Wonder Woman being the best book at DC. So that is number one with a bullet. But there were a lot of great DC books. It was obviously easier to make that list than the Marvel list. But I'm not the guy that likes the typical books at either company. So Ultimate Spider-Man and Absolute Batman, I know, were the big ones for everybody, and I didn't like either one of those books very much. So I kind of go off the beaten path a little bit on some of those titles. I like Tom King's Wonder Woman as well as Absolute Wonder Woman, so both of those got mentioned. But again, that video's up. If there's others that you want me to read or check out, there's definitely, I'm happy to take recommendations. I want to get around to Ram V's New Gods. Haven't started that, mostly because I don't, other than Mr. Miracle and his corner of that universe, the New Gods don't interest me very much. I don't know that I love those characters as much. I feel like it's a little bit fluffy. I don't know, a little bit pretentious might be the word I'm looking for. So not something that appeals to me as much. It's kind of like Eternals over at Marvel. I don't know that I like any of these characters. They all seem very pompy and pompous. I don't particularly enjoy those universes as much. So the reason I've been holding off is because I got to be in the right mindset to really like invest the time in that series, because I do hear great things and I like Ram V a whole lot. So I would be interested to hear his take at some point. Sorry to ask, but when do you get together with other channels to do Avengers versus? Yeah, sure, Matt, no problem. Once a month. Me and where is he? Where is Magic Lasso? There he is. Me and this guy, we get together once a month to talk about Avengers versus Justice League of America. We've done 1 through 20. We've done 20 issues, 20 episodes, and there's playlists up on our channels where you can catch all that stuff. But I think the next one we're doing is a wrap up of season number 1. The first 20 issues were season 1. We've done 18 months of this and had a blast. So the next episode will be on Ryan's channel, and we will be talking about those first 20 and having our overview of kind of how those issues went for us. We'll be going through and sharing our copies of those books, because Ryan has completed his entire Justice League of America Volume 1, and I'm tinkering with Avengers Volume 1. I've only gotten about 25 issues in, so I'm definitely slacking on the Avengers side for sure. But that's definitely coming up here this month, January. We do 1 a month, so it's not as regular of a content, and I apologize for that. But we're busy guys, and so it tends to be 1 a month that we kind of do those. No Absolute books made his list. So much great reading in 2025. New Gods was number 3. Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that it's as good as people are saying, because I do hear a lot of positive noise about it. But it was one of the few books I just didn't get around to. But I definitely had some great reads for sure. What is up, Trev, the shipping guru? Good to see you, my friend, as I am logging out. Thank you, everybody, for coming by. I appreciate all of you coming by. I appreciate all the channel supporters, the people that hit the join button, but you guys all did the most important part, which is you hung out, left me some comments in the chat. Hopefully hit the thumbs up and subscribed on the way out the door, because it's always nice to have you guys join us each time. And if you hit the notification bell, you'll hear every time we go live, you'll get that little warning and be there for us. As far as coming up on the channel, tomorrow night is Dungeons and Dragons with the comic book community. So I should have all the homies back to continue our storyline. And then next week, I believe I'm on other people's channels, except Tuesday, I am hosting Omni X-Men. We are back, and I've got the bearded comic bro coming in. Poor guy. We suffer him through reading Marvel books. We suffer him through reading mutant-related comics, and we're reading New Mutants Special Edition number 1 from 1985. We'll see how much he likes it. It's a really long book. But until then, I wish you all a great weekend and a happy start to 2026. Peace.